लेकिन हम ये घर से बाहर लास्ट का मैंने देखा उसमें वीडियो शादी का क्या बोलते हैं मैं तो एक्चुअली सीरियसली लास्ट लेक्चर में मैंने कुछ किया नहीं था लेकिन बाकी सबने होमवर्क नहीं किया उसके बाद मैंने होमवर्क भी करना है उसके पास एक एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चन भी तीन घंटे तो क्वेश्चन आंसर है और उसके बाद आंसर भी है क्वेश्चन Any doubt from the previous part? Whatever we have discussed, any doubt is there? Anything you want to ask? We ask, then we will proceed further. Anything? Nothing. Anybody have doubt? Let us see if any doubt is there, we will clear it and go further. No doubt. Now we are moving to the next part, that is reforms. We have learned agriculture is facing so. Yes.
Board is not visible.
You just no. Knowing, no? Not knowing. Okay. Then God can go straight. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, we have learned that there are so many problems, so many challenges the Indian farmers are facing. Now, in order to solve some of the, at least a few challenges, the government have introduced certain reforms. The first reform introduced by the government is that research centers, that is Indian agricultural research centers have been established. So research centers means in order to test the land
and knowing the nature of the land accordingly, that whatever suitable fertilizers could be added. We know that some soils are rich in certain things and some are deficient in certain fertilizers or manures. So accordingly, it can be added. So for that purpose, the research centers have been established. So one of this thing is that ICAR. What is that ICAR? Indian Council of Agricultural Research. For what purpose research is done? That is to test the soil, then introducing good seeds which are suitable to that particular type of soil, and improving the agriculture. For that, ICAR is established. Got it? That was point. What is the first reform? Setting up of ICAR. Now, next important reform is Green Revolution. Green Revolution is the revolution that has been introduced in agricultural field. Have you heard about White Revolution? So that is introduced in dairy. So the changes that have been introduced in agriculture is called.
ये आपको शेयर करना है क्या ये स्क्रीन? नहीं ना?
This one no. But now no videos are going to be. So the changes that have been introduced in agriculture. So what all changes are being introduced? That is introduction of high yielding varieties of seeds, HYV seeds. So chapter agriculture, first chapter. Chapter 8, no? Am I correct? 11. Okay. So the introduction of high yielding varieties. What is that? From the particular crop, more yield to be getting. So for that, introduction of high yielding varieties of seeds. Then use of chemical fertilizers. Controlled irrigation. These all things together when it is introduced, like a package that is called a green revolution. That would help in increasing that yield. For example, when we got independence, Indian agriculture was in a bad shape. You're not writing. Just write down so that afterwards when I take the test, you will be able to. Okay. When we got independence, agriculture was in a very bad shape. You are knowing that India faced so many famines and so now the government's priority was to increase the production. So we would be able to be self-sufficient in the agricultural production. So 5-year plans, when it was set up, they gave priority to increase the agricultural production. For that, in 1960s, the government adopted this Green Revolution policy. Accordingly, these all things were done. High yielding varieties of seeds were prepared and introduced. Then, if high yielding varieties of seeds are applied, then there should be chemical fertilizers, there should be irrigation facilities, then machines to be used for tilling the land and other activities, then chemical pesticides, insecticides, etc. to be there. So only one thing will not work. If you are using only high yielding varieties of seeds, then we will not get a good result. So like a package, all these things were introduced and it started giving a very good result. 3 times the agricultural production increased within a short period. And it was tested in only 2 or 3 states. Punjab and Haryana it started and it was extended to western Uttar Pradesh also. So our food production increased so that first self-sufficiency was achieved and the extra food grains were collected and stored in for Food Corporation of India godowns. So that is why the second most important reform was introduction of Green Revolution. Now that you understood Green Revolution. Now the third, impact on agriculture. How agriculture was affected or influenced by these changes or these reforms. Previous class we have studied subsistence agriculture. What is subsistence agriculture? Can anyone tell me?
Where farmers grow crops for their survival.
Yes. For their own needs, farmers' needs, they are producing. They are not growing it for selling purpose. So the first change is that change from subsistence to earlier food production was very less, not even for the survival of the farmers. So with the introduction of Green Revolution, tripled the agricultural production. So from subsistence to commercial, it has started. That was the first change. Earlier, the production was for the use of farmers and their families. Now it has changed from subsistence to commercial. Next is that agriculture changed from intensive to this method also we have to study the difference between subsistence and commercial also, intensive also, extensive also, detailed way. So what is intensive? One piece of land, very small piece of land that the farmer was having, that field is used intensively, max utilization of that land. That is called intensive farming. Many crops are used or cultivated in that particular small field. Such cultivation is that intensive. But when it comes to extensive, means it is large farms where machines are used and one crop is cultivated, cash crop is cultivated. So like that, extensive cultivation. So from intensive to extensive farming. Clear? So from subsistence to commercial, intensive to extensive farming. What is the next change? Yes, what is going on? Who is talking? Hmm? So, introduction of new technology in agriculture. Earlier, we studied about the new technology. What was the new technology? Somebody respond. Huh? What was the new technology? Huh? Green revolution. I just underlined that. Green revolution was a new technology. That is high yielding varieties of seeds, use of chemical fertilizers. All those things are introduced. That is what the introduction of new technology in agriculture. Now, the next important change is that farmers to obtain increasing returns from agriculture. So, okay. So these are the other changes. What is that? New technologies were introduced and increased returns. See, now they are able to sell it in the market. They used to get more income. And because of getting more income, what happened? The rural people condition began to change. They become prospered through this incomes. Got it? Now you have to tell one by one all these points. Okay, you start from what are the changes, reforms introduced? First reform,
ICA,
what is ICA?
Indian Council of Agriculture Research.
For what purpose? You tell. For what purpose that research is being done?
Like observe the changes of the agriculture or to like see the damages of the farms.
Okay, to test the soil and what type of improvements are required for that study purpose, research purpose. Okay. Now you tell what is the second reform? What is green revolution?
Introduction of HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, controlled irrigation, and
Okay, many things together introduced in that agriculture so that what would be the result when these all things are introducing in agriculture? What is the result? Then yield increased. The production, I have told you, 3 times that production. So when people were starving during the time of independence or immediately after independence, then 60s when this was introduced. Our former Prime Minister's time, that is Indira Gandhi's time, only this was introduced. And Dr. Swaminathan was that person who gave that concept of green revolution. So he is considered as the father of green revolution. So agricultural production tripled, and afterwards 3.5 times, 4 times. Now agricultural production declined because after a certain level that land will cease to give yield. Okay, that point is clear. Now, next point. Yes, can you just clarify any of the point? What is the impact?
change from subsistence farming to commercial.
Yes. Can you tell what is subsistence farming? You are not there, but I explain. Subsistence.
Farming of one specific.
No.
Substances farming means which they did it for their own survival.
Yes, so it is for the subsistence of farmer and his place. Understood? It's not for sale. Now there is a change from subsistence to commercial. Yes, what is commercial farming? That is produced for selling purpose. That is more production is taken place and selling for selling in the market. Okay, next. Hmm?
Enable to farmers to get more profits.
Hmm. Yes, yes. Okay. More production or increase the production. That is one of the outcome. Then, what is the change?
There was an introduction of new technology.
Introduction of new technology. That is what we have already studied. Then, what is the other change?
Increase rural prosperity.
Prosperity, rural prosperity. That is the rural poor people. Their condition improved and prosperity. They become rich. One point is missing.
Intensive to extensive farming.
Yes. Can you give what is intensive and what is extensive?
Less extensive language expanding.
Large area is extensive, intensive is small area. But what is here related to the production? The available small land is intensively cultivated. That is maximum utilization of that available land to get a maximum yield. Okay, extensively large land with the help of machines and other things they are cultivating. Okay, I think you got all the points clear. Shall we move to the next part? Next is types of agriculture. Here, that at times I am going to what is that distinguished type I am going. So both the things you can learn together. So one by one, instead of learning one by one, so intensive and extensive we will learn, or next method subsistence and commercial. Okay, so both two columns you have to. The first one is subsistence what is subsistence farming? Earlier we have defined it. What is subsistence farming? It's a type of farming. You just define. First point, it's a type of farming in which farmers grow crops for him and his family needs. Him and his family needs. It is grown for the survival of, it is grown for the survival of farmers, not for sale. This type of farming is practiced. This type of farming is practiced in tribal areas of Assam and northeastern hilly states. Assam and the northeastern hilly states. So this is what the definition of subsistence farming. Got it? Now we are going to see the features. First feature is that land holding, subsistence. Below that only features of subsistence farm. Okay. Land holding is small and scattered. Small and scattered. Land holding is small and scattered. That is one. Second point, the farmers use traditional methods of agriculture. Traditional methods of agriculture. Third point, they depend mainly on monsoon and the natural fertility of the soil. And fourth point, the output may not be very high. May not be very high. So, four features. What are the four features? One is land is small and scattered. So, beginning we have seen the example, fragmented lands. So, small size land holding, they cannot use any machinery. They cannot use any modern methods of farming. So, the first point, small and scattered pieces of land. Second point is traditional methods are used. So, they use that plows or they used that what is that hooves and small type of implements. Okay, so traditional method, they use natural manures, cow dung and other things. So then they are not able to use that high yielding varieties of seeds or modern methods of farming. Okay, because of all this, land yield is very low. All the 4 points clear? Let's move to commercial farming. What is commercial farming? First, we have to define. In this method of farming, cultivation is done. Cultivation is done mainly for sale. The crops grown are commercial or cash crops. Example, sugarcane, rubber, etc. Okay, here you can use even wheat also large scale when it is cultivated. So both the earlier examples are just non-food crops. Okay, so wheat is also cultivated on larger area extensively in the areas like your states like Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, etc. So wheat is also in that case cash crop. They are uh, growing on larger area for more production. Clear? Now let us see that this is done in the region where there is sparse population. Sparse population and large area available. This is done in the area where sparse population, less population. And what is the next one? Large area available. Just opposite of that. Subsistence means a large population and a small area. Okay. Now let us see the features of commercial this thing, agriculture. First point. Crops are grown mainly for sale. Crops are grown mainly for sale. Second point, large farms are required. Large farms are required. Third point, mechanized farming is done. Next point, prevalent in the areas where market economy is well developed. And large farms are available. Got it? So commercial farming is done only for sale or mainly for sale. You may be remembering that the farmers of Punjab, Haryana, UP and many other large farmers or rich farmers only we will call them, because they are engaged in farming activity, they produced a large amount. They were protesting, they were striking from 2020 onwards. Have you heard about their protest, farmers protest? For what purpose they protested? Tell. That is also one of that is a minor thing. An agricultural law was implemented in which that private sector, they began to collect the produce. So earlier, what was the rule? Government used to collect the produce and farmers used to get good prices for their
But
produce.
they were getting price.
Now,
Farmers were getting the price. That's.
see, when it was privatized, it will be purchased by Adani. It will be purchased by that Mukesh Ambani. So, will that the farmers get any benefit out of it? So, if privatization is done in the economy like ours, that is not going to benefit the farmers. That is why they protested. Remember that is in that cold, in that what is that COVID time and all. Many farmers died. That is, they were in Delhi and nearby areas. They were continuously protesting against. And they forced the government to repeal some of the laws included in that agricultural act. So that means they are so powerful that they are depending on agriculture. At the same time, without their support, India would not survive that way. So they force the government to make laws which are going to help farmers. Recently also, that is last year, 2024 also they protested. So government was forced to repeal many conditions or many terms of that. That did not start that privatization in that. So what is here we are going to see is that this kind of large farmers, they have very vast farms. They use tractors, tillers and all. They produce only for sale. So they are having large farms. At the same time, large scale production, mechanized farming, and the condition is that they are having marketing facilities. And they are producing it for sale purpose, means marketing facility. Only those areas, this type of extensive farming will work. Okay, is it clear? So, distinguish between intensive and extensive is clear now? Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Any point need explanation? Now let's move to the next method of farming is shifting agriculture. There is no comparison for shifting agriculture, okay? In shifting agriculture, a large tract of forest land, right? A large tract of tract of forest land is cleared in shifting agriculture. A large tract of forest land, TRACT, tract. TRACT, tract of forest land. Not it. Okay. Tract of forest land is being cleared. By cutting the trees and burning it. Okay. Seeds are sown. Seeds are sown in that cleared land, Okay. This is done for 1 or 2 years. And when the fertility loses, and when the fertility loses, they move to another area. Doing the same move to another area doing the same activity. Got it? Completed? So here the word is shifting. Shift the places. Vedansh and Rehan,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to hear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
From the table, we can use very simple. Okay. What is that? Is shifting. The forest land is cleared by cutting the trees or branches of the trees and burn it. The ashes are spread, and in that, just making small holes and then putting that seeds. So natural fertility is there because that new land, fresh land is there. Because of the humus content, okay, they get a good yield for some time. As the land is not tilled properly, after 1 or 2 cropping season, the fertility will lose. So they move to another area, they shift to another area, and the same practice continued. As they are shifting the places, this agricultural practice is called shifting agriculture. This is also known as slash and burn. Because the trees are slashed and burned. The ashes is used as the natural fertilizer. Okay, so this requires huge area. So much forest used to be cleared. So that is why now very less area this slash and burn agriculture or shifting agriculture is done. The land is not tilled properly, so the soil is not loose. So after 1 or 2 years, that fertility will not be there. If the land is tilled properly, then they could do that agriculture in the same field for more time. Understood? So this, what are the features of this one? First one, a patch of forest land is cleared. Features. First one, a patch of forest land is cleared. Features. Everything features also we are writing. First we defined, no? 50. Patch of forest land is being cleared by cutting and burning. By cutting and burning the stems. Cleared by cutting and burning the stump. Second point. After the land is cleared, seeds are sown in the ground. Third point. After 2 to 3 years, soil fertility loses. The field is abandoned. Dry paddy, buckwheat, maize and millets are cultivated. Buckwheat, maize and millets are cultivated. Okay. Over? Is it clear? What is that method you tell me? This method, shifting. What is actually done for shifting agriculture? Hmm. Then what I have? They burned that. Yes. The ashes are spread and the seeds are sown. Now what happened? Immediately that seeds will start growing and then 1 or 2 years they give good yield because land is not properly tilled. After that they leave, abandon that place and move to another area, the same procedure continues. For that, what is the problem? Large forest cover has to be cleared. Deforestation to be done. It is having some after effects. So that is why now many places this shifting practice is banned. That is during the time of British itself it is banned. Now, if more forests have to be cleared, that would affect our climate. That is why many places the shifting cultivation is not in practice. Clear? Let us see the next one. Here also we are going to compare. First, intensive farming. The regions were the size of population is large. Intensive. In the areas, regions were the size of population is large. And intensive farming in the regions where the size of population is large and land is less. Size of population is large and land is less. Intensive farming is practiced. To 2 or 3 crops are grown. Agriculture is done with manual labor. Agriculture is done with manual labor. This type of agriculture is done in northern plains and coastal areas. Okay. Features. First one. Small farms are intensively cultivated. Small farms are intensively cultivated. It is labor intensive. Labor intensive means more labor. I have told you in the definition. Labor intensive. More than one crop is cultivated. It is done in the areas where more population pressure. Done in the areas where more population pressure.
More population.
Pressure. Okay, see, in this, large number of people are living in that area, but each person is having small pieces of land. So, in order to get maximum produce, they have to utilize the land to the maximum. So, they start growing different crops. In a year, for example, Rabi season, Rabi crop is grown, and then Kharif season, Kharif crop is grown, and in between the Zaid season, that crops are also grown. So maximum produce they want to get. And as the land size is small, more labor is used for agricultural activity. So that is why the land is intensively cultivated. Clear? Now, extensive, just opposite of intensive is extensive. It is practiced in the areas. It is practiced in the areas. Practiced in the areas where population size is small. Population size is small and large sized land is available. Large sized land is available. Okay. Second, sorry, here yield per hectare is low. Yield per hectare is low, but overall production is high. overall production is high. Because if you are taking a small piece like intensive that agriculture, so that particular area if you are taking, that production is low. But the overall production is high. Why? Because less population only there. So more areas are together cultivated. Okay. Machines are next year. Machines are used for different agricultural activities. It is capital intensive. It is capital intensive. Intensive, capital intensive. More money is invested in agricultural activity. The earlier one is labor intensive. More laborers are used and less money is invested. But here machines are used as well as more capital is invested, like for high yielding varieties of seeds, chemical fertilizers, all those things. So that is why there is a huge difference between intensive and extensive agriculture. Intensive agriculture, small piece of land intensively cultivated, whereas extensive, large farms are cultivated with the help of machines and more capital. Got it? So from that you can get to the points. What is that? Large farms, machines are used, capital intensive, surplus production. Got? These are the features of the feature. Let us move to the next method. What is that? Plantation agriculture. Have you heard about the plantation? What is plantation agriculture? Can you give one example? Yes, can you give any plantation agriculture example? So any others, but tea plantation, rubber plantation. So large area, one single crop in estates is cultivated. Okay, so that. Pardon? There is middle one. Okay. Directly it will come out. Fan if you want. No, because basic options, there will be some problem. Okay, listen. What is that plantation agriculture? Definition first you write, then I will explain. It is a type of agriculture in which a single crop is planted. Single crop is planted on large estates.
Can you repeat, ma'am?
It is a type of agriculture in which a single crop is grown in large estates. Okay, so that is what large estates are there. One crop. So you may think that what is the difference between commercial and plantation? Commercial also large area is there. But in that, it is not called as estates. And that way, wheat is a commercial crop. It is a cash crop also. But it is not grown in estates. Understood? So, it is like commercial plantation, means large scale, but one crop in large estate. Did you get it? I'll continue. Next point. These crops are usually grown for export market, to earn foreign exchange. Earn, EARN, earn foreign exchange, or to get foreign exchange. Export market to earn foreign exchange. Is grown mainly to export market for earning foreign exchange. Okay, foreign exchange. Got it? Foreign exchange. What is that? Foreign exchange. I was so much confused. That is why I am also confused. Which word is not clear? Got it? Foreign exchange. One example, tea. Foreign exchange. That is why I wrote it. Was not clear? Huh? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Foreign exchange. Say, what is that? Tea is grown for export purpose. So when we are exporting tea, we get a foreign exchange. That is the meaning. Such kind of crops are grown. Clear? Thank you. See, next point. These crops are grown in rows. Row means lines only. This in rows. That is the peculiarity. In the earlier case, when we learned about that commercial farming it is not grown in row. Okay, and large stage. Okay. So grown in rows and single crop on large estates. Single crop on large estate. Most of the activities are done within the estate itself. Estate itself. Say, let us take the example of tea plantation. So, tea is grown in rows in estate, and What is the later part? You have to learn about this tea cropping, harvesting, and all whatever is there. So, tea leaves are plucked, and within that estate itself, that the whole processes will be done because it has to be completed within a stipulated time. If it is taken out, it become useless. It cannot be. So that is why most of such crops, like a plantation crops, the activities are completed within the estate itself. Rubber plantation is there. Rubber plantation, after taking that sap, what is rubber sap, that after extraction, that processing is completed within that. If it is taken out, we cannot convert that one into that other process purpose. It has so many processes are involved in it. So most of such crops have that processing is done within the estate itself. That is the difference. So how can we derive that features? Can you tell? Definition you have written. You just tell one by one that the features. Yes. You start with the what are
One crop is cultivated
single crop is cultivated.
using modern scientific methods.
Okay, scientific methods. Then you.
These crops are usually grown for foreign exchange.
Foreign exchange. Okay, then you. Large estate, that just when we are talking about the land, that it can be used for the commercial crops or commercial agriculture. But this particular plantation, one particular word is very important, estate. Okay, then any other? Mostly what type of labor intensive? This word I forget to change. Mostly labor intensive, but this one capital intensive. Commercial company we have done. What is that? A capital intensive instead of labor intensive. Because plucking and all of tea leaves and all is done by laborers. Machines cannot do that. Then all the points cleared. Now we have come to the last type of farming method, that is mixed farming. Mixed farming, any idea is that?
Multiple crops are grown.
Huh?
Multiple crops are grown.
Okay, that is
Different
also.
methods and
Huh?
different methods are used.
Oh, that's all use. Let us see. Anything else? You? Last one? Huh? What is?
We just know what you are teaching. He's not writing.
Not being
He is not he is writing, but something else is also going.
Yes, that is there.
Okay. Mixed farming means where agriculture as well as cattle rearing is done simultaneously. Such farming practice is called a mixed farming. It is not a mixing so many crops or like that. Yeah? Agriculture and the cattle rearing is done simultaneously. That is called a mixed farming. Okay, definition you write. It's the type of farming in which cultivation of crops and rearing of cattle them together,
Of cultivation of crops and
rearing of cattle. Rearing of cattle are done together on the same farm.
on the
Same farm. This keeps farmers better off and more secure. Farmers better off or develop and more secure. Because additional income comes from various sources. Next, rotation of crops also practiced. Rotation of crops also practiced. Okay, listen. Now you imagine a farmer, the agricultural activity, if it is kharif crop. Next lesson, that the cropping season is there. Kharif. Kharif means a monsoon crop. So that time, when the farmer sow the seed, and there is a waiting period of 4 months, that time they are not having any income. But they have to continuously do different activity, weeding activity, so many activities to be done. But till harvest, they are not getting any income. After harvesting, if the produce is more, then they could sell and earn something. So how they will survive during that? If they rear cattle, the cattle would provide them additional income by selling the milk, by if they are having poultry or like that, selling the egg or other things. So additional income they get during the off season. And if they are having cattle, cattle would help them in farm activities. And they would give that cow dung and all, that would be a manure. And farm waste can be given as a cattle feed. They don't have to look after that cattle feed. So all this way, the cattle act as a partner to the farmer. They give additional income. They help in that farming activities. They support that agriculture with manure. So this way, together they live, that is farmers and the cattle. Such kind of farming practice which the farmers engage in is called a mixed farming. Is this part clear? Mixed farming, what are the features? Along with that, one word also we have learned rotation of crops. Crops are rotated. That is kharif season, kharif crops like rice and all they grow. Rabi season, that other crops are grown, rabi crops. And in between, summer crops are there. Some vegetables and all are grown during that summer. So this way, they rotate the crops and get that food supplies. At the same time, they rear cattle. This way, when the farmers are engaged in this activity, it is called a mixed farming. So I'll give you 5 minutes or how much time is required for preparing. I'll take the test. No problem, you can just go through and if anything is not understood, you can ask.
It will be a oral test or a written?
No, written test. Because oral test, this one, much questions are not. Written means this type of distinguish between everything you can. How many minutes you require? No. 15 minutes, then you will go for it. No. Start learning. If you want to require much time, because simultaneously I had taken the revision also. Textbook. Yes, everything is there. That is, books are having different look only, but the same syllabus. This book only, no? So everything is.
There is nothing like which part of it.
Everything is.
They can start.
See. 15 marks. No. I made you to write plus the test also. And then this lesson can be thoroughly learned. MCQs are not there. Only that your
Five
questions.
marks will be less.
Do fast, don't waste. What's your name?
Harsh.
Harsh.
This time is provided for preparation. 3 minutes.
No.
5 minutes.
5 minutes only. Then you have to write, I have to check also.
I'm waiting for us.
Problem. After that, test I will check and give. You don't worry about it. In Melbourne also I have connected the test and give. 15. Then also I check.
He's not letting me study. Just very informative.
from that. Completed learning? Okay. Close your book and take your book, notebook. Please write the questions and that marks also against that so that I can check. Just close your book, then only I can write.
Ma'am, the first question is of how many marks?
3 mark.
Okay, ma'am.
If you are having the remaining class, afterwards, classes, right? No. Those kind of cases, those are not. But
Next class is.
next slide. On the next slide, after the completion of the earlier, I will complete and I will give you. And there is the discussing of the slide. Enjoy it. Learn the discussion, no? Next day, you have to complete the census and come, and then that lesson also.
They have to.